Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, ladies. Thank you for coming out tonight. Tonight is going to be a little bit different. Normally, I have an agenda or a message, or in the back of my mind, I know what I'm going to say. Tonight, I have no clue what I'm going to say other than enough is enough. What do I mean by enough is enough? Hello, who said what? And of course, hello, Carrie. Thank you very much for coming out. Um, what is enough. On the one day that should have been focused on the boys, and yes, I refer to Summer Wells, her brothers, and the fact that the Wells had a court case today. From what I've heard, the Wells actually left from there very disappointed, very angry, very hurt. We don't know because it's family court. We don't know the full outcome. We can only stand by, speculate, and wait. Justice for All was has the lab on right now with him, and they were saying that they believe this is that they were hauled into court for one single purpose, and that is that they were called in because, or the court hearing was all about the gag order. And I can't disagree with that. It only makes sense. If they were to go on YouTube and talk about Summer Wells, their missing daughter, instead of whining and complaining about how they are the victim, that everybody try to have everybody have pity on them. Hello, Cherokee girl. Thank you for coming out. I appreciate you doing so. If for 1 minute they ever stopped and spoke about Summer Wells and how they are the victim and how everybody should have pity on them, then it would be a different story. I would have issue with them being drawn into onto court and probably getting reamed out because of the gag order. But we have nothing ever more than the complete opposite. We have never had anything more but the complete opposite of saying, as I was saying on my last live, every answer should have been, no matter what the question was, every answer should have been, my daughter Summer Wells is still missing. Can we talk about my daughter Summer Wells? If they ever did that, I would be 100% behind them speaking. But everything that happened today, and yes, I'm going to name that channel Crazy Crime and Critters. And this goes back at least 24 hours now. where you have that channel being, if you remember back at the beginning of Summer Wells' disappearance, when Don Wells started speaking, it's Voices Behind the Wall 2.0. They are playing that channel, or they were playing that channel to be a mouthpiece for them. It's the same exact thing that I've always said about everything that's happened with people speaking up from Ben Hill Road. They are nothing but a mouthpiece looking for their 15 minutes of fame. And they're trying to be a voice to cause more confusion and chaos. And for a channel to come out and say the language on that channel, and for them to claim they are a Christian channel and that they're Christians and they don't stand for such things, it is disgusting. I am highly offended as somebody that is, I'm not trying to make a career out of being a YouTuber like some others. I'm just a local that is actually the one of the few channels on YouTube that has said, I'm here for that little missing girl. I'm here to talk about that little missing girl, that Miss Summer Wells. And let's continuously put out there what we may know to be the truth about her disappearance. Never have I once ever said that this was for that this was a kidnapping situation. Never believed it. The police have said from the get-go that the evidence does not support this is a missing, that this was a kidnapping situation. But her parents want you to believe it is. I personally am fed up with all the drama, all the bullcrap that has gone on. And that's what tonight is about. There is no hidden agenda. There's no message. Just we're sick and tired of hearing of all the bullcrap. And we're here to talk about Summer Wells. Today would have been the one exception that I would say it's perfect opportunity to be able to talk about the Wells and not talk about Summer Wells. Today was all about doing what was right for the boys. In the most ideal and perfect situations, it would be great to be able to have the boys return to good parents. But these are not good parents. They have done nothing but mistreat their children. Don Wells wants to have this great petition, wants to have this great, huge to do about CPS in Tennessee, saying that it needs to be overhauled and it's a corrupt system and they're stealing money from parents. No, they aren't. They're protecting kids. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that Tennessee's CPS is perfect. I'm sure there are some situations, some families that really don't deserve to be a foster parent end up being a foster parent. That's the same for every single state. It's one of those things where you have to let the person's actions speak louder than their words. And with time, you drum them out. You rule them out, you get rid of them. CPS actually does really good in Tennessee. Really good. It is probably the easiest state in any other state for a parent to get their child back. There are a few cases where the courts would justifiably will not allow a parent to get their kid back. But what I mean by that in being in Tennessee is this: you go to court, you show them that you're making progress on what the state says you have got to fix. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be complete. It has to be satisfactory progress. And as long as you're doing so for about 18 months and nearing completion at the end of the 18 months, if it does take that long, ideally they don't want it to take that long. But if they have to continue it for up to 18 months, they will do so. And as long as you get majority of what is need to be done to be corrected. Right, Carrie, exactly. You still have to make the effort. They will return the kids to the biological parents. I would say it's about 95% of the time. 90 to 95% of the time. See, I don't know exactly. I know the number, so if forgive me, if I'm off, I'm just throwing a number on it. I believe that is legitimate within a good acceptable range for CPS here in Tennessee. That they return kids to their biological parents. Those other 5 to 10% is justifiable reasoning. And what you're seeing out of the Wells actions is putting the state, either they've already done so or they're about to do so, because if you today is the 9th. In 6 days it will be 20 months since Summer Wells went missing. Within 3 months, I believe it was about 2.5 months to be precise, the boys were taken away from 110 Ben Hill Road, their parents. So if you say, imagine that, 18 months is almost up. The 18 months is almost up. I believe they got some really bad news that the courts don't like the progress that they have made and the fact that they're not keeping up the gag order. Let's start with that right there. And let's go back 8 months, 6 months. Better make it. We're February now, 5 months. Don Wells is in jail. And you get a rumor or a story that's coming out of Candace's own mouth. And she says, I can't be bothered to contact the boys or go to a court hearing because it's too far away and too hard. too hard. I have a son that's 19 years old. Because of a very bad relationship with his mother, I had to be parent from a distance. Paid my child support when I had a job. Paid off because I was in rears, I paid that off. The single hardest thing was to do was to have to take that step back. Some of it was for my personal reasons. Some of it was because of the damage that his mother was doing and try to pin on me to interfere with the relationship with my son. But not 1 second would have gone by where I would have ever said, "It's too hard. It's too hard. I can't. It's too far away." I was that dad that would leave Facebook messages for my son. I would text message my son. Did I get a respond every single time? No. In fact, most of the time I believe it was from his mother. But if my son said, "I want you here," there is not anything in the world that would have ever stopped me. You do not give up. When you're a parent from a remote distance, no matter how bad your relationship was with your ex or your strained relationship with your child, you don't give up. You hold in your heart. In fact, I still do, even when my child is 19 years old. You hold it in your heart that you're going to be able to have that relationship with him or her once again. And you're going to patch things up that went wrong and make your bond stronger with them. Hello, Oreo. How are you doing tonight? You don't give up on that. It's not humanly possible. Hello, Miss Justice. I so often try not to speak of my personal issues, my personal life on this channel, just to eliminate it possibly exposing anything about my personal self or my family situation or the family upbringing that I have had. I'm never going to claim I'm a great parent or I was a great parent. Goodness knows I had the worst father you could imagine to have. Maybe not. Okay, let me back off that a step because I just thought of what other stories and things like that. But I had a horrible father. Oh, Miss Justice, you really didn't miss a whole lot. I can recap for you real quick if you're still with me. Hello, cosplay. Miss Justice, if you're still there and not going back to the beginning, more or less, we're just talking about the drama that's been happening in the past 48 hours. And that enough is enough. It's got to stop. Because it's not doing anything but spinning wheels in a mud ditch, not doing any good for anybody, not doing any good for Summer Wells or the boys. That's what really tonight is about. Enough is enough. When I was back before I had to take my hiatus because of my work job, one of the things I constantly said was be careful of who you're listening to. Kept warning, be careful of who you're listening to. They're going to lead you down a rabbit trail you don't want to go. And it's happening all over again. Voices Behind the Wall did it in the beginning. And the crazy crime critters channel is doing it again now. But this time, I will give Voices Behind the Wall credit. I didn't agree with everything they did, but they were trying to give Don Wells, whom they believed had something important to say, a platform to say it on, so everybody could hear. Not knowing what his involvement, his role, whatever the case may be, I'm not making no judgment against anybody tonight of who did what with Summer Wells. However, it quickly devolved or de-evolved, however you want to say it, into drama. Don Wells knew when he got out of jail, he had to find that one channel that was going to allow him to pick up where he left off before he went to jail, and when Voices Behind the Wall stopped allowing him to use their platform, because he had to spin this like crazy. Carrie's cosplay, not to call you two out. I know you're my mods, and you have your anybody's invited to do so, to join me on Discord. I still have a Discord, but they will tell you, and they're going to tell you as soon as they hear this. I said it. I said it's exactly what's going to happen. As soon as Don Wells got out of jail, he was going to go back into spin mode. And it was going to be anybody and everybody that would listen. He was going to find that one place that would allow him to spin the hardest. He was going to stick to him like glue. This one channel goes around promoting itself, and I'm not trying to promote religion. I will tell you that I like to study monotheism and polytheism. I love Greek mythology. I love reading the Bible. I am a spiritual person. So with no criticism do I blame somebody for running to religion. However, when a channel is going around saying, we're so religious, but you listen to listen to what they say, you listen to what they put out there, and you start to sit there and go, they're not Christian. There's only one person, one being that they're idolizing. The prince of chaos and corruption and lies. They're doing exactly what they that a Christian should never do. Chase popularity over their faith. It's honestly where I started with where I was my whole idea behind it. Enough is enough. Where I started off in my mind, that was it right there. I'm tired of hearing the lies, the chaos, the corruption, and man, did it blow up today. It blew up today. I had said earlier this week I was going to be on a couple times this week. I believe it was actually Sunday night. I did a live, or Saturday I did a live, and I said I was back and explained why I had to take this time away, and I was going to be back more regular, and I had plans for this week. And to touch on why I wasn't on earlier this week is Aiden Fucci. I might be mispronouncing his name. Monday morning, he went into court and he changed his plea. Jail made that boy grow a conscience. And he did the right thing. He got up in front of the judge and he said, I want to say one thing today to the family. And he's like, I know it's not normal. I just want to say I'm sorry. That's no excuse and nothing to do with the sentence he's going to have to face. The judge went into that in front of him and his lawyers, explaining that the judge can slap down life in prison and there's no chance for appeal. And he says, I understand. I had planned on doing a whole live on that on Tuesday, but with him apologizing, there was no need to come live. That's why I didn't. But I had also planned talking about this, and I didn't plan on it being tonight. But when you get a belly full, and it's a very sour belly full, you gotta let it get. You gotta let it out. You gotta talk about it. The Wells, I want to say that they took a calculated risk with coming online. And unfortunately, they didn't have the maturity to stay on Summer Wells. It was simply that they went and got online, and as soon as they started getting asked real questions, hard questions, needed to be answered questions, questions that I would have asked, because there is a lot of loopholes in what they said. Such as Don Wells said, I was in Jonesboro prior to going to jail. Since then, when he was in a tirade and a tizzy and he was just going off on the lab, he said something that a lot of people may have missed. He said he was 45 to 50 miles away. on the June 15th, that fateful day of June 15th. Jonesboro to where he lives, and I've still not done the math on how far exactly this is, but I'll put it at being 20 to 25 miles. And I'm giving coverage for whether or not he was at the housing that he was working in, or he was actually at his boss's house where the business was ran out of. 20 to 25 miles covers it. Depending on which location is, he could have been at his house in less than 40 minutes, 45 minutes tops. So my number one question, which would have been, which was it, Don? Were you in Jonesboro, or were you 45 to 50 miles away? Big difference. Big difference of a 20 to 25-minute trip between, I'm sorry, it is actually depending on which way you go, can be as short as a 20, 25-minute trip or long as a 40, 45-minute trip. There is a bit of a range there that most people are not aware of. Or were you almost 3/4 of the way to Knoxville or down past Greenville or in Virginia? Because we are going from where the Wells live, less than 6 miles from Virginia. Where were you really, Don? We need the truthful answer to be on your side. Something you never ever got from him was a truthful, honest answer. If he were to make a statement out of a question like that, answer to that is like, I'm sorry, I'm not the most smartest man in the world. I'm not trying to put myself down. I was getting frustrated and I gave a wrong answer. I was in Jonesboro. And that's been proven to the law enforcement. Then we have a good answer. There you go. If it doesn't make sense, it probably isn't true. Gary, that's exactly the kind of question that you need to ask. What I would ask. Why? It hasn't been until the past 48 hours that we've actually heard from Candace. I mean, truly heard from Candace in a very down to earth, real manner, no matter what channel it's on. It's the first time outside of being interviewed by WJHL that we heard from Candace. She was plain smoking. She was quiet. Forgive me, I was taking a drink of something. And she came across as being more level headed and mature than Don Wells ever had. Like I said, tonight I'm choosing to not give my opinion of who I believe did what. That's not important tonight. We'll get back into that another night. What has happened in the past 48 hours is tragic. It has done no good for this other channel that runs around saying, "We support you, Don. We believe everything you say, Don." It's doing no good. Not one bit of it is about Summer Wells. Not one bit of it is about Summer Wells. I know this is something in the neighborhood of 605 days. I may be off on a day, or we're going into the 605th day of Summer Wells being missing. And you hear about how Candace has a heart issue. She admits that she's done drugs, she's drank, she's had a she's made herself her life hard. She wasn't handed a hard life, she made her life hard. Just Miss Justice, you have you're so right. I said that earlier. You're exactly right. What about the heart that's probably stopped beating? You have people that are going around and their parents are doing this, as well as other that channel I mentioned earlier are going around. I believe that Summer Wells is alive, and I believe that she's going to be returned home. It's the chaos, the corruption, the lies that they want to continually perpetuate. If you look at this statistically from the FBI standpoint, law enforcement standpoint, you look at somebody that has a very strong intuition, and I'm not the only one in this channel that has a very strong intuition. We all sit there and say and believe, and we don't want to believe, but we do, that her chances of being alive are so finite that it's overwhelming that she isn't. That's being realistic. That's not being trying to spread an agenda or give bad wishes to them or anything. That's reality. That is just reality of what is going on. I cannot say enough times tonight. I'm not telling you to stop listening to another channel. I'm not telling you to only listen to me. That is not what I'm about. Many, many religions, and again, I'm not preaching religion, will tell you to be careful what you hear, what you see, because it enters your heart or your soul. You can verse it however you want to. It enters your mind. It corrupts your mind. And when you do that, when that happens, it's like the old saying about a man being the head of a household. Man might be a head of the household, but without a strong spine or a neck to support him, that head is just flopping all around in 30,000 directions, not knowing where to look. And yes, women, you are that neck and spine. It's impossible at this point to have that clear head about this and sit there and to sponge up what this other channel is saying without the reality of saying that summer's most likely gone. I hate saying it, folks. Nobody should have to say that about a child. Tonight, I really came on to vent, and that's what I wanted to vent about. Was the drama has got to stop. It's time to put the for the drama channels, the drama BS, the drama bullcrap that's dragging this through the mud. And as Miss Justice said, and I said earlier, it is just wheels spinning in the mud, going nowhere. That's where we're at. Those wheels can't even dig in. It's like in the South, we would say that somebody's stuck in the mud. Up the north, where I grew up when I was a little kid, a smart driver went around with a bag of cat litter and cardboard in their vehicle. And if anybody's from up north, you'll understand this very, very quickly. The cardboard and the cat litter had a purpose and did better than what road crews would do. But it's the same exact principle. If you get stuck in a snowbank or you get stuck in a parking lot where they haven't plowed yet after a major winter storm, you got to get yourself out because nobody's getting in there with you. No tow truck's going to come pull you out. They're going to turn around and say, yep, you're stuck. There's mass transit down this road. You're going to have to wait a day or two. But if you got that bag of cat litter and some cardboard in your trunk, and you know how to use it right, you never have to be fear of being stuck in a parking lot that hasn't been plowed yet. Ah, Miss Justice, you know exactly what I'm talking about then. You go a little bit farther south in the United States, down around Philadelphia area, Pennsylvania area, where you start to get that coastal ice and snow mix in. Yeah, you rely on that cardboard and that um, uh, cat litter because it's the only thing that's going to give you a grip in the ground on the ground. It's going to let you get a little bit of traction. Sorry about coughing, folks. It's going to get you a little bit of traction to get yourself moving that little bit forward. That's all you need, just that little bit, so you can carry your momentum through. Guys, I'm reading going through the chat with you. If you have any questions, comments, or if you would like to jump up live with me, please let me know. I'll drop a link right now for you, and you can join me live. I know some people don't like to do so. No pressure to anybody that doesn't want to do it. Tonight, I try to stay away from talking about drama. I don't like talking about drama. Tonight is the night that it needs to be addressed. Tonight is the night that needs to be addressed. As I said, enough is enough. There's the link, guys. It's in the chat. Please don't hesitate if you want to join me. You got a comment or something you want to say about the Summer Wells missing? Tonight is one of those nights, like I said, I don't normally talk about the boys either. If you have information about the boys or anything that happened today with the courts, because I've heard very little to none. I cannot believe personally that it's been almost 20 months. Miss Justice, I appreciate your honesty with me. And I hope you are getting better very soon. Not that I want you to have to join me or anything like that. It's been a weird couple of months for me too. Besides me taking a hiatus because of work and keeping myself focused on work for a while there, I have had pink eye for 3 weeks, and every single time it clears up, it comes back 2 days later. Like I will have no signs of having pink eye, and then all of a sudden it comes back. and my I can barely see out of my right eye. So while I don't know how you feel with sepsis, I could only imagine that it's fighting an infection is a very rough thing to do. Cosplay, it's okay. I understand. You had actually a really important thing going on tonight, and I hope that your event that you had to attend to tonight went well. It honestly feels weird to have a live just be this short, but if nobody wants to join, I understand. I'm not offended, but I'm not going to sit here and just jabber on tonight. Well, last night was kind of sprung on you at last minute from what you said. So, a night to have fun and enjoy is always a good thing. But I'm still working behind the scenes, and I am working on getting back to full speed of being online. And wow, Miss Justice, I am so sorry. Sepsis is something you don't want to fool with, that's for sure. So if they kept you in there for 5 days, they had actually really good reason to keep you and get you back to better strength and being able to be out and about or out and on way to better health. Well, that's good cosplay. I'm happy. uh, Cosplay, is it okay if I say what you had to do last night that has you feeling that way? One of cosplay's children had I believe it was a mother daughter basketball challenge or game, and cosplay was not told ahead of time. It was in less than 24 hours notice that she was given that she was going to be playing in that game. And her daughter is quite an athlete. So if you can imagine that, understand why cosplay is saying she was sore today, but she's feeling better tonight. It has everything to do with the game tonight and or last night rather, and that she actually didn't have to play in a game tonight, but and went and watched a game tonight that was involving her, a family member of hers. Oh, you did. Oh, that's good. Well, guys, this upcoming week, um, I have a couple of things that I'm going to be doing, looking into. We're going to, of course, be talking about Summer Wells more because somebody needs to talk about Summer Wells. We're going to get into this next few days. Probably, if I don't do a live Saturday night, it will be Monday night. We're going to go back to the basics. We're going to go back to what happened in the order that it happened on June 15th. But we're not only going to start with June 15th, we're going to start with June 14th because that's what Don Wells has said, that it all started on the 14th when they went to bed. There's more to it. I believe. I'm just personally going to put this out here. I believe there's more to the 14th, to June 14th, than people are aware. Carrie will be my Carrie. I use my. I don't mean to say I use, but I have. I've been very fortunate with Carrie as a mod for me. She has been absolutely awesome because I don't drive. If there's something going on, and she knows that I would want to attend, and she's going to attend, she makes sure I get there. And on the 1 year anniversary, this is all on my channel. I'm not springing on anything on anybody, or I'm not trying to promote an old video or whatnot. I had a personal agenda that I wanted to do. A lot of people, quite frankly, are turned off because of my channel, or or with my channel, because I don't deny that spirits can be a very useful tool. Carrie and I went to the cemetery that's across the road from where the Wells live. And I sat there. I walked around the graveyard and I just let them know who I was and why I was there. And I just listened. I asked some questions, but I listened. They want to talk about June 14th. They tell you that June 14th is just as important as the 15th. When you talk to them about the 15th, they tell you no, the 14th. To me, that says there's something going on. The 14th is just as important as the 15th. The 14th is just as important as the events that happen on the 15th. We're going to get focused on that. We're going to get back to knowing what happened and why that 14th is just as important. I know some channels, like I said, because of I leave myself open to spirits and spiritual world, and I don't say that I'm a clairvoyant or any. I experience things differently than most people, and I'm not trying to put anybody down that they experience things differently. I just, if you have spirits that telling you that the 14th is as important as the 15th, and they want to talk about the 14th, you just gotta listen. Normally, a number, a date, a spirit won't tell you diddly about, but they want to talk about the 14th. But we are going to get back to not just that information and experiencing that information and understanding why the 14th is important. We are going to talk about the facts of the 15th and what has happened since then. primarily, what's really important, what I believe is the most important, is the first 2 weeks after Summer went missing. Because after that, everything started going to chaos, conspiracy theories, corruption, to all negative. The most important thing, and I'm going to leave it with this tonight. Before I do, I want to thank everybody that came out and has joined me live. We are working on rebuilding my channel since I had to take that hiatus. If you are like what you have heard tonight, please hit that like button and that subscribe button. If you had not already done so, hit that bell so you get notifications of when I do go live. The because I will never ever monetize. That's not a promise. That is not a what any other creator says, to get up to 1,000 or whatever the number it is that you have to be at to be able to monetize a channel. It will never ever happen on my channel. Never will this channel be monetized. I just make a stand on that because I don't think that it's something that I should do. Not only because of what my job says about it, but because of how I feel. But if you're part of the replay crew and you do watch this when it does on a replay later, I do want to thank you as well for tuning in. We're short tonight. We're only on for an hour. I'm wrapping up now. So guys, again, thank you. But I will be back later this week. I am not going to be on Sunday night. I'm sorry. My fandom will be going too wild on Sunday night. If you're a sports fan, you'll understand what that means with what's going on Sunday night. And yes, I am a Philadelphia Eagles fan. Bingo, Carrie. We like to have discussions and talk of things out. We know that, and we know how to agree and to disagree. Exactly. My whole thing about, if you're going to bring to me a point that I don't agree with, is do two things. Make it based on the facts. Make it based on the facts, and make it be. Do not let it be a circular argument, because that does not that it doesn't get anywhere, because it just repeats round and round. It doesn't have a point. Circular arguments are pointless. There's no use in them. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming out tonight. Do you know where your kids are? It's kind of early. I know it's not quite 10 o'clock here, but do you know where your kids are? If you do, please give them an extra hug tonight. Make sure they know that you love them. Even if your child is grown, give them a text message. Make sure they know that you love them. It's important to do so. I look forward to speaking with you again. Next time, we will be talking about more and more about Summer Wells and getting back to the facts of what happened, what we know to be the facts of what happened. Thank you all for coming out. Have a wonderful night. Good night.